Hey guys, welcome to PowerBI lesson number 4. In this lesson, I'm gonna talk about data preparation and transformation. I'm gonna show you how you can take a messy data like this and transform it into a structured table like this using Power Query. Stay tuned. If this is your first time here and if you like the content, please don't forget to click on the link below and subscribe to the channel. Okay, so let's go. As always, let's start with the 7 pillars for mastering Power BI. And today we're gonna talk about these first two options, these first two steps here, which are extraction and transformation. Whenever we connect to a data source and grab the data, usually it is very messy, dirty. We have to combine tables, we have to clean, and so on. And we can do this in Power BI using the engine of Power Query. Okay, this is our magic box to prepare and transform data and put in a correct structure. That's our job first, always. We always have to do this. So let's go. I have 3 examples to show some features of Power Query. Okay, this one is very simple. I have only one table and only one column, and I'm going to Power Query. I'm gonna open it, clicking on Transform Data. Let's suppose that I have the last and first name separated by comma and space. And I wanna create another column just with the first name, which is Leonardo, Felipe, Gabriel, and so on. I can go in the Add Column tab and click on Extract. Extract is what I want to keep. I want to keep the word before, I want to keep the word later, the word after the space, right? So I can go there in the Extract button and then text after delimiter, and my delimiter is space. Type space and then OK. There you go. Text after delimiter. I can rename it here. So it's the first name. Oops. Like this. Okay. And when I do this on the formula bar, I don't add another step, which is good for performance. And you can enable this formula bar on the View tab here. Let's suppose now that I want to create another column, actually, with the first and last name separated by space only. Leonardo Karpinski, Felipe Souza, and so on. Then it becomes a little bit more difficult to do it by hand. We have to use here, we can use actually another feature in the Add Column tab, which is the column from examples. Let's say I want to I want to create another column by giving some examples, like Leonardo Karpinski. Enter. Did not find. Felipe Souza. Enter. And then it understood the pattern and created this formula, this expression here. Very big. Okay. Behind the scenes, that's what Power BI made here. Nice, very nice. I can now close and apply. Oh, sorry. I can now, what did I do? I forgot to do something here. Oh, nice. Then I can rename it custom to full name, right? Full name. Okay. This is very useful for cleaning text values. When I have lowercase, uppercase, and they are mixed, for example, and I want to put in the same way, then I can use this extract or maybe add columns from examples. A very simple example just to begin. Then I go to home, if I finished, close and apply, and I will provide this file in the link in the description below. I will save it and let's close it. The second example is the following. Let's suppose we have a system, an ERP, that I have to extract some reports by month, for example. And then in each report for each year, I have the sales for all months inside that year. In this example, we have sales for region, state, and city by month. All three files have the same structure, just the numbers that change, of course. And I want to grab these three files or any other files that I put in here and combine them into one single table. Put one after the other, below the other. I can do this very easily in PowerBI just by copying this path. And then instead of connecting to one single Excel file, I connect to a folder. Get data. Get data. Where is it? Here. And then folder. I choose folder. I just paste the path. Paste it. And then click OK. Remember, the first step always is to transform data. Transform data. It will open the Power Query window. There is an option, very useful as well, and very easy to use, which is this option here to combine files. But there is a problem with this option, which is the following. I must have the structure and the name of the sheets the same. Otherwise, it's not gonna work. So I have 2017 in this one, 2018 in the other, and 2019 in the third file. It's not gonna work. Then I must hard code the function that connects to a workbook, to an Excel workbook. I go to add column, custom column, and I always like to use this function, even when I have all structures and all files with the same name and so on. I like to do this. For me, it's easier. Let's call it content. Oh, I already have content, custom. Okay, so it was okay. And I'm gonna type here the formula for connecting to an Excel workbook. And this is the M language. M language. Okay, this is the language for Power Query. You don't need to remember all functions. Some are more important than others. Because in Power Query, you can do a lot of things, a lot of stuff here just with the mouse. This is an exception that I must type the formula, which is excel.workbook. The parameter for this function is a binary. And the binary are in the content column. So I'm gonna use the content column, double click, close parentheses, and then OK. Inside these three tables, I have all content inside those files. And I'm gonna keep only this column custom, this custom column. Right click, remove others. Nice. And then I'm gonna expand, removing this option, and then clicking OK. I have the year, and inside the data column, the data, like this. 2017, 18, and 19. With the control, I'm gonna select item, data, remove other columns. Nice. And then expand data. Okay. Nice. I have 2017, 2018, and 2019. So the first job was done, which was put all tables, all files inside one single table. Combine them in one single table. Perfect. Let's move on. Next step is the following. I always like to start by knowing which columns I want to have when I finish the transformation. And I know that I need the year column, the region column, the state column, the city column, and then the month and the value, right? The sales value, sales amount. Year is there. Region, there. State, there. City, there. Month and sales, I have to do a transformation later because I have 12 columns, but I should have only 2 columns for month and sales. So let's go. The first step after knowing this is to remove the empty rows, the rows that I don't need. I could go in the Home tab and then remove rows, remove top rows, which are 2. These 2 first rows I need to remove. But I don't like this option. I prefer to look at the data and choose which column that I can remove the empty rows, and then I will be safe. The total column. The total column, I always have to have a number here, right? If I don't have it, it's because I can remove it. So I go to the last column and then remove empty. Okay. And now this first row is the header. So go in here, use first row as headers. Nice. I can see that on this line, 18th, and on this row, 36, they are the headers for the other files. I can remove them just by filtering them. When I filter in Power Query, it's the same as removing the row. It removes the row. That's it. So I can go on the region or on the state or on the city column. Any of these 3 will work. I'm going to choose the region column and then remove region because it's the header of the following files. Okay, nice. But there is another row with the total that I must remove as well, because I never bring totals to Power BI. They're calculated in Power BI. Again here, and then remove total. Uncheck. Okay. Let's go to the next transformation, which is transforming these 12 columns into rows. And this operation is called unpivot. But first, remember that I must remove the total for the column as well. I can go with the delete button on the keyboard. Nice. Select 12 columns from January to December. Right click on any of them and then unpivot. Very good. Attribute, I can rename it to month and value to sales amount. This sales amount is decimal number. Always change the ABC123 to the correct type. There is something here that I missed. I can fill down these values in order to fill them with the value from here, right? Southeast, northeast, and so on. I can do this in this step, or maybe I can go back, let's say in this step, and I can insert an intermediate step right now. By choosing those 2 columns and then with the right click, fill down, it's gonna ask if I wanna insert a step in the middle, because it can be dangerous, but I'm sure that I'm safe. Insert. That's it. A very nice option, much easier than Excel, right? In Excel you have to double click in the corner or maybe fill down with the mouse. Here is just a button and it goes from the beginning to the end of the file without interrupting. Let's go back to the last step and then it's okay. It's fine. Let's call this column year and let's split this month column into 2 columns, one with the number and other with the month name. I can select and then go to add column, extract, or maybe column from examples, right? Either one. Let's go to extract, text after delimiter. Let's say I want to add a column with the name of the month. The delimiter is parenthesis space. Okay. Yes, correct. Let's call it month name. And now let's change it to transform, because on this column I want to grab only the number. If I go to add column and transform and extract again, it will create another column, but I don't need to. I can do this transformation right here in this column, correct? So go to transform, and then there is an option to extract as well in this tab. Transform text between delimiters now. Between delimiters. What are those delimiters? Look here, the space and then the right parentheses, correct? So start is space and end is right parentheses. Oops. Okay, correct. Just change the type to whole number and it works. Month, sales amount, month name. I think I'm done. Let's go to the Home tab and close and apply. So all steps that we made were saved in the right, okay, in the applied steps tab, and I can check. This is a good way to document your transformations and go back later. You're gonna understand easily what you have done before. Let's create a very simple chart just to check what happens when I add another file. Do you think I have to do any transformations again or not? You're gonna see. Let's put year inside axis actually, year on the axis, and sales amount on the values. I have 2017, 18, and 19. And then I made another extraction from the system with the values for 2020. I placed it here. I'm gonna cut and paste inside the same folder. It has the same structure, only the values are changed. All right. Going back to Power BI, I'm gonna just click refresh and see the magic happening. See, 2020 sales went way up, but it worked. 2017, 18, 19, and 2020. You just have to be sure that the files have the same structure. Then you can easily and safely put the files inside the same folder. I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna also put this file together in the description, okay? In the link in the description below, so you can test for yourself. Let's create another file for the last example, which is a bit more difficult. Let me close it. Okay. So the last example is the following. I have also an extraction from a system, from an ERP, with the construction expenses for construction. And it comes with this, in this structure, with messy data, dirty and messy data. What's important for me in this file, in this data, is the following: the date, the supplier, the document, and the amount. These values inside this area. But also, I need to create other two columns with these values. This is the header account, the master account, and this is the detailed account. So for example, here you have the same header account, equipment, but another detailed account. In this row, the header account changed to construction. So in some way, I need to grab this value and place it right here. Right? Let's do it. Let's do it in Power Query. Let's open another file, another report from Excel. Our file is with this format. Let me remember here. And then let's choose the file. Okay, let's go. Check it. Transform data. Transform data always, always, always. Transform data. It's gonna open Power Query. Okay. And the first thing is I like to remove rows that I don't need, and also remove columns. I can see that column 5 doesn't have anything. Column 6 also. The document I need, okay. This one I don't need. I need the amount. I don't need this, I don't need this. So this one also, I don't need it. And that's it for now. Okay, that's it for now. Right click, remove. I have the supplier, the document, and the amount, and the date. So our job is to create other 2 columns. The header account, and the detailed account. The header account I know that comes from row 4, row 29, and so on. But it can change along other files, right? I cannot say that it's always on the 4th row, neither the 29th row. It has to be dynamic. What's the logic for us to discover this value in the master account, in the header account? Is the following. If on this first column the value starts with level, then I grab the value from the column 2. That's the logic. Go to add column, conditional column. Conditional column, I'm gonna call it header account. Motorcycle making noise. Header account. If construction costs begins with level, then the output is a column. Which column? The value of column 2. Let's see. Okay, it worked here, here, and here. It's an error because a null value could not be transformed into a logical value. Okay, but no problem, because I can go with the right click, replace errors by null. Then it's fine. Now, right click, fill down. First job was done. Nice. Let's go to our second task. What's the logic in this one, in this detailed account? Is the following. Let's see, there are some options, right? The one I like is to count the number of characters. 1, 2, 3, and so on. First, let's add another column with the extract length. You can see that it has 14 characters, right? So grab this expression, this function, text.length, and then Ctrl C. I can remove it, and then using a custom column, I can do the following. I'm gonna call it detailed account. If Ctrl V, paste. If text.length equals to 14, then I use column 2. Else, null. If then else. Okay. And now I have the value for the detailed account as well. Equipment, pass-through, civil, architecture, electric, and so on. I can also fill down. Nice. And now it's just a matter of removing the rows that I don't need. So the rows, for example, for column 13, all of them must have a value. I can remove empty from there. Did not work very well as I imagined. Remove it. I didn't like it. I went back. Supplier, for example. Supplier, I always have to have a value as well. So I go there, remove empty. Of course, I need to be sure that I always have a value in this column, of course. Remove empty. Let's go with the use first row as headers to put this first row up there. And now let's remove these headers for other values, just by going with the filter and remove supplier and check it. I think we are done. This column I don't need it anymore. Remove. Date, supplier, document. See, ABC123. It doesn't know if it's a number or a text. I know it's a text, right? There are some letters there. Text. Amount, I know it's a decimal number. And it changed the value for these columns, but I can rename it again. Header account and just account. And I'm done. Close and apply. Everything working correctly and in a very organized way, with transformations made on Power Query and any other file that I put in there with the same name, with the same structure, it's gonna work. Of course, in this time, my connection, and I can see the connection in this button there, in data source settings, I made a connection to one single file. So it must have always this same name. If I put another file in the folder and I want to combine them together as I did in the last example, then the connection should be on the folder and not on the file. Clear? So that's it. That's our third example that I'm gonna save as well and provide for you. It's gonna be available in the links in the description below. So I hope you enjoyed this lesson. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you like this content, okay? See you next week.